You think your kitchen is just for preparing food, a space of warmth, nourishment, family. But what if I told you that something inside it is silently poisoning your life? Padre Pio once warned, there are objects so common, we forget they can carry the weight of darkness. Right now, inside your kitchen, the heart of your home, there may be a single object that's draining your energy, attracting illness, and keeping your family stuck in financial struggle. And the worst part? You've walked past it 1,000 times. You've touched it, cleaned around it. You might have even believed it was helping you. But what Padre Pio saw in homes burdened by suffering was always the same. This one object was there, quiet, unnoticed, spiritually toxic. It doesn't speak. It doesn't move. But it works slowly, invisibly, to unravel peace, block prosperity, and invite chaos. Today, you'll discover what that object is. And once you see it, you'll never unsee it again. And you'll understand why removing it today might be the most powerful spiritual decision you've ever made. The kitchen is not just where meals are made, it's where energy is exchanged. In Padre Pio's teachings, he often referred to the kitchen as the spiritual heart of the home, because it's where nourishment begins, where prayers are whispered in silence, where love is served, or where resentment can fester unnoticed. Every corner, every object in that space absorbs emotion, joy, gratitude, fear, stress. And over time, the kitchen becomes either a portal of abundance or a magnet of affliction. Padre Pio noticed something unsettling in many homes he visited. Families who worked hard, prayed daily, yet still faced constant illness, financial decay, and emotional exhaustion. And the common thread was always the same, a spiritually polluted kitchen. Not dirty, not cluttered, but energetically misaligned. Because in the spiritual world, even sacred spaces can become contaminated, especially when we allow the wrong object to stay, unaware of its hidden weight. You don't need to believe in superstition. You only need to be willing to see that energy moves, and your kitchen may be where it's getting stuck. The most dangerous spiritual attacks are not loud. They are subtle, repetitive, and disguised as normal life. Padre Pio taught that when a space becomes spiritually contaminated, it doesn't explode in chaos, it erodes in silence. You start noticing things. Food spoiling faster than usual. Strange odors that come and go. A feeling of heaviness when you enter the kitchen. Unexplainable fatigue while cooking. Arguments that seem to happen only during meals. Bills piling up, no matter how hard you work. Unexpected illnesses that don't respond to treatment. None of it seems connected, but it is. These are not random problems. They are symptoms of a spiritual imbalance, and it often starts in the room where energy should nourish the kitchen. Padre Pio said, when the altar of nourishment is disturbed, all blessings struggle to reach the home. And that disturbance often comes from one object out of place, filled with stagnant energy, and holding back what your home was meant to receive. These signs are not coincidences. They are warnings. And if you're seeing them, it means it's time to act. It's not cursed. It's not evil in itself. But according to Padre Pio, this everyday object becomes spiritually dangerous when placed in the wrong location, and that location is your kitchen. What is it? A broken or unused refrigerator. Yes, that silent box in the corner, unplugged, malfunctioning, or filled with expired food becomes, in the spiritual realm, a graveyard of energy. Padre Pio called it the coffin of nourishment. Because instead of preserving life, it preserves stagnation. Families who kept non-functioning fridges or who used them to store forgotten items reported more than just bad smells. They experienced constant tension, financial strain, and emotional distance during meals. Why? Because food is sacred, and the space meant to protect it cannot become a tomb. Even an active fridge, if overloaded with chaos, expired items, or cluttered beyond care, can begin to emit a frequency of decay. Padre Pio warned, if the food rots where it rests, the spirit of the home does too. This isn't superstition, it's energy. And energy left to rot attracts exactly what you don't want. Now that you see it, the question becomes, will you remove it or keep feeding what's feeding off you? This object doesn't scream, it doesn't move. But every second it remains in your kitchen, it's leaking spiritual decay. Padre Pio described these forgotten, broken, or misused items as slow poisons of the home. Why? Because everything in your house holds a frequency. And this particular object, when neglected or out of alignment, begins to emit the vibration of stagnation, loss, and spiritual heaviness. Think about it. You enter your kitchen to cook, to feed your family, to care. But instead of feeling peace, you feel tired. You lose your appetite. You argue. Your mind becomes cloudy. It's not just emotional, it's energetic. This object, in silence, is anchoring a field of scarcity into your home. And every time you ignore it, you reinforce its power. Padre Pio taught that blessings cannot flow where old energy festers. That includes food, thought, memory, and yes, objects. If what you keep no longer serves, it starts to steal. And this one steals quietly, every day, every hour, until you remove it, until you make space for light again. You can pray. You can burn incense. You can clean the floors until they shine. But if that object remains, the energy won't move. Padre Pio warned, you cannot purify a place that clings to what is impure. The kitchen is a sacred chamber, a space of creation, transformation, and life. But when you leave in it something spiritually dead, like a broken fridge, an unused appliance, a drawer filled with moldy, forgotten things, it becomes a gate that traps the past. These objects act like sponges for negative energy. And worse, they reject renewal. No matter how much holy water you sprinkle or how many prayers you speak, nothing penetrates when the energy is blocked at the root. It's like trying to breathe with a bag over your head. This is why so many homes remain stuck, not from lack of faith, but from lack of awareness. The object that doesn't matter is the one holding everything back. And Padre Pio taught, cleanliness isn't just for hygiene, it's for heaven to enter. So before you pray again, before you light another candle, remove what God can't bless. Then watch how quickly the light floods in. These aren't theories. They're testimonies. Stories of people who, like you, felt something was off and finally saw what had been hiding in plain sight. One woman in Palermo had been battling chronic fatigue and stomach issues for years. Doctors found nothing. Medications changed nothing. Until she remembered something Padre Pio once said in a sermon. What you neglect in your home, heaven will not bless. She walked into her kitchen, opened the old storage cabinet near the stove, and found a broken blender, still plugged in, covered in dust, filled with old crumbs, forgotten for years. She threw it away. Within 3 days, her digestion normalized. Her kitchen felt lighter. She began sleeping through the night. Another story came from a family outside Naples. A rusted, unused microwave had become a resting place for mail, receipts, old keys clutter. Padre Pio's writings had inspired them to clear their kitchen of anything dead or useless. They removed the appliance. That same week, the father got a job offer after months of rejection. Their food budget stretched. The house felt reborn. These aren't coincidences. They are what Padre Pio called the fruit of obedience to spiritual order. When you remove what blocks grace, grace rushes in. Here's what makes this object so dangerous. It doesn't look dangerous. It blends into your routine. It hides in plain sight on top of the fridge, behind a curtain, under the sink, or buried in a drawer you haven't opened in months. Padre Pio called it the servant of disorder that wears the face of usefulness. That's why most people never remove it. They think, it's not harming anyone. It's just old. I'll fix it later. But spiritually, later means never. This object could be a broken appliance, an expired spice rack, a rusty pot you haven't used in years, a chipped dish you're still attached to, even a plastic container with moldy food you forgot in the back of the shelf. And the most terrifying truth? The longer it stays, the more it roots itself into the energy of your home. It becomes invisible, but its effects are not. Disorder invites decay. Neglect invites scarcity. And familiarity? It blinds. But now, your eyes are open, and that alone already starts to break the spell. Look around your kitchen again. This time, really look. What doesn't belong has already overstayed. Removing the object is the first step. But energy, like a wound, must be treated after the cut. Padre Pio believed that after clearing a spiritually infected space, the home must be reclaimed with light. Otherwise, the darkness returns to the emptiness it left behind. This is the ritual he recommended: simple, sacred, powerful. Fill a clear glass with coarse salt and place it in the center of your kitchen. Add a single dried bay leaf inside, symbol of divine provision. At exactly noon, when the sun is at its highest, say aloud, Lord, restore the purity of this place. Let all that enters be light. Let all that leaves be peace. Then take a white cloth, dip your fingers in olive oil, and draw a cross above your stove and sink. These are the altars of nourishment and cleansing. They must be spiritually sealed. Leave the salt and bay leaf for 3 days. Then discard it outside your home, never in your own trash. This ritual does not come from superstition. It comes from reverence, from understanding that the spiritual world honors action rooted in faith. When you do this with intention, your kitchen becomes more than clean. It becomes consecrated. A space where no curse can dwell. You've heard the signs. You felt the truth. Now, the choice is yours. Padre Pio never forced anyone to believe. He simply revealed what most were afraid to see. God's blessings don't mix with what resists order. That object in your kitchen? It's not just metal, or plastic, or wood. It's a symbol, a spiritual placeholder for everything that's holding you back. You can keep it, and keep wondering why nothing flows, why your home feels heavy, why your health feels unstable, why your finances never seem to stretch. Or you can release it today and make space for what you've been praying for. Because sometimes, God isn't saying no. He's waiting for you to make room. If this message touched something in you, leave a comment with the word cleansed to declare that shift. Share this video with someone you know needs to do the same. And like this video if it helped open your eyes. You were never meant to live in spiritual clutter. You were meant to live in peace. And peace begins with what you choose to remove.